Welcome to another edition of Talkline. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., with over 1,000 volunteers from NORPAC coming to Capitol Hill to advocate for a strong American-Israeli relationship, meeting with congressmen, meeting with senators. I myself am a group leader, and I'll tell you about our experiences right after these messages. Stay tuned.
If you have diabetes and love food, pay attention to this free offer.
Hi, I'm Nicole Johnson, Miss America 1999. I've had diabetes since 1993, and I hate boring food. Well, I got these 3 free cookbooks with fantastic tasting recipes for people with diabetes. If you have diabetes and have Medicare, you can get these cookbooks free.
Call now to qualify for not 1, not 2, but 3 free cookbooks. Call 1-800-753-6314.
You'll love this rich chocolate cake, oven-fried chicken, and nachos. You'll also get this free meal planning guide and diabetes magazine. So call now for your free Better Care Kit with 3 free cookbooks.
To qualify, call 1-800-753-6314. That's 1-800-753-6314.
An important alert for people using the drug Avandia. The diabetes drug Avandia has been linked to serious heart-related injury and even death. If you or a loved one used Avandia and suffered a heart attack, heart failure, stroke, or heart-related death, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation.
Call 1-800-460-5950.
Recent congressional reports and FDA studies have found an increased risk of heart attacks and heart failure in patients using the drug Avandia. Time to file a claim is limited.
Call 1-800-460-5950.
Holly's discovered a secret that could help thousands of other catheter users.
For years, I never realized how different catheter supplies really were. Liberator contacted my doctor and made arrangements for me to try catheters that were easier to use, much more comfortable, all for free. And they helped me qualify for a new sterile catheter every time I needed one. No more reusing. The minute you make the phone call, you're going to see the difference.
Call 1-800-627-2821.
To take the step to prevent Iran's nuclear weapons capability program from advancing as they continue to enrich, that we will have Israel's back.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you from the annual NORPAC Mission to Washington, D.C. We're speaking with Rabbi Yoel Schoenfeld. He's with the Orthodox Union. He's involved in so much of Jewish life. He's here in a private capacity in the NORPAC Mission to Washington, D.C. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you. Actually, I'm not here in such a private capacity. Chiefly here at Rabbi of Young Israel of Kew Gardens Hills. We have a good contingent of Kew Gardens Hills people with us, and it's a very special privilege to be here.
Right. I know that a lot of people here, it's good to see. Can you tell everybody how important it is, because we have over 1,000 people that are gathered in Washington to advocate for Israel, but how important is the more people? Next year I'd like to see this double. How do we get people involved?
Well, I want to tell you, in Queens itself, Kew Gardens Hills, we probably tripled our representation from last year. I think as people become more educated to the urgency of what's going on in Israel and the Middle East, that itself should be a motivator. This makes a huge difference. We're talking about Israel's survival, especially with the threat of Iran. I think more people become attuned to that, they'll be self-motivated to want to participate.
Thank you. And Cindy Lichtbaum is from East Brunswick, New Jersey.
Correct.
Group leader, so which means that you had a group of 7 or 8 people, 6 people all together, where you got a different congressman and senator. So tell us about how your experience was. You've obviously done it before. How did it go today?
Well, this was a banner day. We were very fortunate in that we met with Senator Inhofe, who is a very strong supporter of the State of Israel, and 2 congressmen, Representative Cory Gardner from Colorado and Representative Daniel Webster from Florida, near Orlando in the Wintergreen area, who are also very strong supporters of the State of Israel. So we were speaking to the choir. In addition to the...
But they still need to be spoken because they like being appreciated for what they're doing, the good work that they're doing.
100%. More importantly, it was a conversation where we could share information, particularly with Senator Inhofe's office. His staffer is extremely knowledgeable, was able to share information with us that we didn't know. We were able to share information with him that he didn't know. It was a very collaborative, supportive meeting. I think they all went really well. I think it's important for us to tell our members of Congress how appreciative we are about the Israel-American relationship. I think they appreciate that we take time to come down here, and it was a very great day. In addition, our first meeting was someone with a little less information. It was the delegate/representative from the District of Columbia, Eleanor Holmes Norton, and her staffer needed to be up on the learning curve, so this was an educational process as well. So NORPAC does a very important thing. It's important for all Americans, particularly Jewish Americans, to show the members of Congress that we support their part of our relationship by being here.
Kudos to you, and thank you for coming year in, year out, and also for leading a group of people, shepherding them into different congressmen and senators. I'm glad it was a rewarding experience. It certainly helps our relationship. It helps America's relationship with Israel, so thank you.
Well, it's certainly one of the most important things I think that the people who are here feel they do every year is coming to Washington. I know people say they've done it, they don't need to do it again. You need to do it year in and year out and get other people excited about doing it as well. We as Americans must remember we live in this country. This relationship is extremely important between the two countries. We need their support and they need our support.
Thank you. Devorah Friedman is from New Jersey. She's a librarian. She's here second time with NORPAC and advocating for Israel. And I guess your experience being a librarian, I saw you noticed when we met with elected officials, you had the information at your fingertips.
Well, I'm actually not a librarian quite yet, but the field of library science is really about how to find information, how to verify that it's accurate, and how to explain it so other people understand it.
How do you enjoy the experience of meeting with elected officials and sharing with them perceptions of what's going on?
I think it's been fascinating because as much as I've been able to share, I've also learned so much about how our government works and how it runs and all the different facets that help everyone keep it going. It really is run by all the people, not just the elected officials.
This is the real democracy in action.
So more like a republic, I suppose. A democracy is where everyone gets a say, and a republic is where only one elected person gets a say. But what helps so much with this is that our elected officials have a whole staff that help keep them going, which is who we talked with today.
Anyway, thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Dr. Laura Baumel is a board member, a chair of NORPAC, and we had her on our radio show before. Good to have you back again. What a successful event. Over 1,000 people coming, ran like clockwork. I don't know, how did you pull it off?
Well, the logistics are very difficult, taking 1,000 people anywhere, but if you add in making almost 500 appointments with members of Congress, developing talking points and training everybody,
so how'd you see it? Because it went on time, it ran like clockwork, it ran pretty much smoothly. People really were enthusiastic, and we got the mission done. I think the elected officials were appreciative of seeing all these people.
Well, there were some glitches behind the scenes that you probably didn't see. For example, President Park of South Korea happened to come to Washington today and call a joint meeting of Congress just when we had our presentation. So the Congress members were supposed to come here, but of course went to the joint meeting in Congress, so things were a little delayed. So things like that just happen.
It happened, but I think the message was across. I know at least the groups that we met with, the congressmen that we met with, I think, and the aides, were really supportive of Israel and really were going to continue in that. And I think they were happy to see the delegations.
Right. I think it's amazing that in a town where Democrats and Republicans could hardly agree on getting a cup of coffee, that really Israel, this issue, is so unifying and has so much widespread bipartisan support.
Thank you for putting it together and helping, and I'm sure next year and the year after, it's just such an important thing, and each year more and more people coming, and I urge people, if you haven't gone on a NORPAC mission, you should go. It's not only rewarding personally, but it's also rewarding for our country, it's also rewarding for Israel.
Yes. And I'd like to just say that although we do enjoy widespread bipartisan support, 40%, over 40% of the senators have served less than 1 6-year term. Over 40% of the House members have served less than 2 2-year terms. So you really have a huge percentage of Congress that's new, and they need us to come and educate them on the issues.
Thank you, and that's why get involved with NORPAC, whether you go on the mission or other activities throughout the year. Important work for all of us. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you for coming and joining us.
Dr. Mark Hanfling joins us from Edison, New Jersey by day, doctor, but today he's a different kind of doctor, helping his group from Edison, New Jersey navigate the halls of Congress.
Right, I'm a advocate for a strong Israel-American relationship. And to that effect, we brought 1,000 people down here on the NORPAC mission from all over the area, mainly from the tri-state area, about 25, 26 buses. Everybody got up early in the morning, davened, and on the bus to Washington.
And how did it go? How effective were you reaching out to elected officials?
It was great. We heard universally that they appreciate our coming down. They appreciate that we're here lobbying and advocating, not lobbying, but advocating for this relationship, and they thanked us for coming. Most of the Congress people that we saw were supportive of our positions. We advocated for Iran sanctions, for a stronger Israel strategic partnership alliance, and for foreign aid for Israel, for funding for the Iron Dome, and it seemed to all go pretty well.
Yeah, I thought so too. They seem receptive. They're glad to see people coming in, their constituent. They want to see, and I said, even in the age of emails, we had a conversation with one of the congressional, even in the age of emails, it's still important to see bodies sitting in front of them, talking to them, communicating, schmoozing. It has such a tremendous positive impact.
Absolutely. Lindsey Graham was here earlier this morning, and he said that he's going to be bringing up a bill that would sort of give the president permission to use military power, if need be, to stop Iran's getting a nuclear weapon. And he said, we hope that you'll be back, when I get that bill in Congress, we hope that you'll be back down in Washington advocating for it.
Dr. Mark Hanfling, thank you for leading the group from Edison, New Jersey, leading the charges, and being part of our broadcast.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with our special broadcast originating from NORPAC's annual mission to Washington, D.C. with over 1,000 volunteers right after the following messages.
Are you stressed over credit cards and other debts, maybe through no fault of your own? Imagine how it would feel to have that weight lifted right off your shoulders. Well, here's some good news from America's trusted name in debt relief. Care One providers have already helped over 4.5 million people in debt, and we can help you today. Just call this toll-free number to speak with a friendly representative, and in just minutes, you'll get your free debt relief analysis.
Just call the toll-free number today.
I've been on a lot of TV shows, but one of my favorites is Zev Brenner on Talkline. I love this show. I love this network. I love talking about my books, my activities with Zev Brenner. Good questions, good listeners, always get a good response.
Talkline now on throughout the metro area on WRNN Channel 62, Sunday nights at 11 p.m. and Fridays at 1 p.m. For other times, please check your local cable guide or call 1-866-MY-TV-SHOW.
Do you take prescription medications? Are you spending money for them every month? Do you want them for free? Call the free prescription hotline to qualify for free brand name prescriptions and medical supplies. If you are insured, uninsured, or a Medicare beneficiary, your brand name prescriptions could be free. Call the free prescription hotline to see if you're eligible for the new programs and receive your brand name medications free.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald, Medical Director of the Free Prescription Hotline. We can now offer the 2010 expanded programs for free prescription medications. So many people do not take advantage of the benefits they're entitled to because they don't call. When you call the Free Prescription Hotline, you'll find out if your medications and medical supplies could be free.
Call now. All callers will receive a free prescription savings card. Don't miss the deadline. Call the Free Prescription Hotline now.
Call 1-800-603-7920. That's 1-800-603-7920.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you from the annual NORPAC Mission to Washington, D.C.
I have sponsored 3 significant legislations with my colleague Mark Kirk to make sure that we have the most punishing sanctions ever authored by one country against another in Iran. It has hurt them dramatically, but I do not believe, as I will tell Catherine Ashton today of the European Union, who we will meet later this afternoon, that the P5+1 talks can continue for talking's sake. The centrifuges are spinning, the clock is ticking, and we cannot allow Iran to have nuclear weapons at any cost. It is in the national interest of the United States.
Good to see Howard Jonas, chairman of IDT, here on the NORPAC mission to Washington, advocating for a strong American-Israeli relationship. Howard spoke in front of the Assembly before everybody started going to different senators and congressmen. Good to see you here.
Nice seeing you, Zev.
Nice to see you and your daughter. It's a family thing.
Nice to see you and your daughter and your son, yes.
Exactly. How many years have you been coming to NORPAC?
I think 4 or 5. And I think it's a very effective organization. And they're willing to take strong stand for Israel, which not all pro-Israel organizations are willing to do, so I'm happy to be here.
Now, you deal with congressmen and senators, not just when you're here with NORPAC, throughout the year as well. So when you come as part of a 1,000-plus delegation, do they take it more seriously?
They definitely take the number seriously. And, you know, sometimes when I'm talking to people, it's on a special issue that's of interest to them too, so they might have particular interest in that, but the numbers give the general pro-Israel what we're trying to do. It gives it, it's an exclamation point.
Now, you come from a unique perspective when you're speaking to the congressmen and senators about energy independence, because you are doing a tremendous project in Israel, making Israel more self-sufficient and producing natural gas and oil. So let's talk about that.
Okay, I mean,
it's a big project, but tell us about it.
Well, we have a large project in the Shvila to turn Israel's shale into oil. And we also are doing some work in the Golan, and they both seem extremely promising.
So your projections are, at some point in time, how energy independent will Israel be once it goes into fruition?
If it comes fully to fruition, Israel has the natural carbon. It has the natural carbon, which is the what oil is made of. For them eventually to have more oil than Saudi Arabia.
More oil than Saudi Arabia.
More. Israel is probably one of the two or three richest energy countries in the world. But a lot of that has to be developed. A lot of that is in potential.
How long would it take?
Some of the projects are 5-year projects and some of the projects are 15-year projects. I mean, to bring it fully to fruition, it's probably a 15 or 20-year project. But, wow. You know, some oil could be flowing in as little as 5 years.
That's amazing. I hope it flows quickly. We need it. I think it'll be good for the West. Certainly be wonderful for Israel. I think it might change the dynamics of the Middle East when that happens.
It certainly will. It certainly will.
Howard, thank you, and thank you for what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to that. So
thank you.
We're speaking to Joseph Auenstern. I hope I got it correct. Evening Star. He's a star for everybody. He's a star for being part of NORPAC. Such an important thing. So you're retired. You come before?
No, this is my first time.
So what made this year's a very special year? It's so important and crucial for Israel. Is that what motivated you to come?
100%, no question about it. Israel is being surrounded by hostile enemies all over.
So it's important that a voice be heard on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, especially with Iran moving forward, and whatever I can do to possibly influence somebody in a positive way, I think it's critically important to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Josh Landis is part of the 1,000 people that came up to Capitol Hill. He's with the Riverdale NORPAC. Good to see you here. You've been here many times before.
Many times. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Zev.
And tell us about just speaking to lawmakers and being with a group and the reactions that you get personally. You've done it so many times.
it's worthwhile. It's been my experience that in most cases, if the congressman or the senator himself is available, herself is available, they are there. They take the issue seriously. And when we have one of their aides, they also are well informed and willing and eager to take our notes and follow up on what we're requesting of them.
What's amazing, it has such an impact when you have people coming from NORPAC and going to almost every senator, every congressman, and speaking to them about the issues that are vital to our country and also to the security of Israel. It makes an impact.
It does, and actually the Riverdale president of NORPAC, I've been here a number of years, and it's a good use of my resources and others in our community, in my opinion.
Good to see you. Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
you'll be here again next year, God willing.
Thank
As
you.
long as there's a need for NORPAC, you're going to be here.
Thank you, big one. Appreciate it.
Actually, I'm here at NORPAC in a professional capacity of bringing the highlights back to you, our viewers and listeners, but also to help advocate for Israel with our elected officials. And our daughter Pamela Brenner is here, Menachem Leib, our son, is here as well. And Pamela's been here before advocating for Israel. So tell us about it and why it's so important for people that are in high school to go ahead and speak to our elected officials.
Well, yes, this is actually my second time coming to Congress to advocate for Israel. I'm the first member of my family to do so. And it's very important when young people go, first of all, to be experienced, that when I'm older, I'll know how to do it because I've done it many times in the past, and it shows the congressman we really care, that we start at a young age. It's very important to us, and it's a model for other people to see that when something is so important, you start no matter how old you are. If you care about something, you should go for it. So that's why I come here to advocate for Israel, because I am very passionate about Israel.
And I think that the congressman and the senator that you meet also, I think, appreciate the fact that you're here.
Yes, they're very appreciative, and it catches their attention when someone younger comes, someone from high school. They listen more because they realize it's even more important when someone from high school comes as opposed to just an adult who they see all the time.
So how do we get more high school students involved in advocacy for Israel?
Well, I think they just need to be aware because it's very accessible. For example, NORPAC is very easy to sign up for. It's very easy to come. It's not hard to learn how to speak to congressmen. So I think that we only need to teach people that you can do it, that it's so easy to just come and help. So we just have to get the word out that high school kids are able to come and speak to members of Congress about issues they care about.
Very well said, and I'm sure you're going to keep coming.
Many times, hopefully.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
It seems like almost everybody's here at NORPAC's mission to Washington, D.C. Rabbi Shlomo Nisanoff is from Kew Gardens in New York City, and good to see you here at NORPAC.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. We came here at the inauguration of Congresswoman Grace Meng. And it's good to be here to support and to promote U.S.-Israeli relations with the different people in Congress.
What's been the reception, the reaction? You've been speaking to different elected officials today.
It's been very positive. And I'm not just coming as a proud citizen of the United States, but also as a former immigrant from the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union, where we're sharing about the anti-Semitism and anti-hatred that's been, incitement that has been. I've been talking about the incitement of the Palestinian children, where over $500 million is going to the PA, and nobody's saying that, they're teaching the kids. You're not born hating. You are taught to hate. And that's something that has to stop, and we would like our elected officials, and they've been very receptive about it, that they should be taught not to hate, and that money should be tied in, that we shouldn't give money to people who are teaching the youngsters to hate America, to hate Israel.
To hate the West, hate Christians, hate even fellow Muslims.
Everybody,
Absolutely.
yes, fellow Muslims included. I mean, that's very, very important. Not to hate. We're not here to hate. We're here to make a better world for everybody. And it's important that we get that message across. It is not just for the vital security of just Israel. It's for the vital security of the United States. And it's important that we have that relationship, that they should see it. I know that we are one of 1% of the 99% who never come out to meet our elected officials, which is very important. It's very exciting for me, and I hope for our community also.
Certainly, and it's important, and thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody. NORPAC is, this year I think, is the biggest, over 1,000 people from across America here to speak to our elected representatives, to convey the importance of the American-Israel alliance, and also to fight for things that are good for America, good for Israel, good for the world, actually. Whether it's, containing a nuclear Iran, containing terrorism. And thank you for being part of our broadcast, and thank you for being here.
Right? And Norfolk it's also very diverse. It's not just Ashkenazim, it's not just from across the United States and across different dimensions of Judaism. Bukharian, Israeli, Sephardi, it doesn't matter where
religious non-religious, everybody's here together.
Here, which is
we are one. We are one. We are one.
And to the different people, we don't make a difference if you have a black hat, if you have a white hat, if you have a hat, you don't have a hat. It does make no difference, and it's very important to make sure that they see that united front, that we're all here together. We are one, and we are coming as one.
Rabbi Nissanov, my hat's off to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to be right back with our special broadcast originating from NORPAC's annual mission to Washington, D.C. after the following messages. Stay tuned.
If you've ever considered hosting your own radio or TV show, then we can help you. Talkline Communications works with individuals and groups interested in broadcasting on radio and TV. Ideal for lawyers, doctors, financial advisors, organizations, or anyone interested in broadcasting. Talkline works with various TV and radio stations in New York and around the country that lease airtime at competitive rates so we can pass on that savings to you. For more information, call us at 212-769-1925. That's 212-769-1925.
This is the Jewish Basketball Hall of Fame. The most complete action-filled history ever of the legendary Jewish basketball players of the 20th century. This video library is comprised of rare, vintage action footage of every player. Here are the Jewish stars and superstars of basketball in all their glory, in their prime, all together for the first time anywhere. There has never been anything like this before. The Jewish Basketball Hall of Fame brings to life an elite Jewish sports tradition filled with Jewish pride. Here they are, the Jewish basketball stars and superstars who, until now, have only lived in nostalgic memory.
I've been making credit card payments for years, but the balance never seems to go down.
Well, no matter how high your debts are, at Jordan McKenna, we're not here to judge you. We're here to help you. We'll match you with a reputable law firm who will negotiate and reduce your credit card balances. Stop those harassing collection calls. They'll even design an affordable monthly payment plan that fits your budget. You could save thousands of dollars. Call Jordan McKenna right now for a no-obligation consultation. It's that easy.
Call today, 888-685-1433.
Kosher Expeditions operates year-round tours with delicious glatt kosher cuisine cooked fresh on site to over 30 of the world's most exotic destinations. Relax at our 7-year running Passover holiday adventure at our Kosher Le Pesach luxury beachside resort in Costa Rica. Breathtaking ocean views, exotic wildlife, inspiring lectures, children's programming, and exciting Costa Rican adventure tours during Chol Hamoed. Come tour with the most established kosher tour operator since 1994. Call Kosher Expeditions at 877-JT-KOSHER, kosherexpeditions.com, the source for exciting worldwide kosher adventure.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you from the annual NORPAC Mission to Washington, D.C.
But one thing we all know is Israel's security, it goes hand in hand with the security of the United States of America. And when Israel's security is threatened, we must, in the U.S., come down unequivocally on the side of Israel's security and Israel's security first. I'll close by saying, as long as I am the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, you have my hand in friendship and the power of my office to secure a peaceful security.
Rabbi Alan Schwartz joins us, spiritual leader of Congregation of Tzedek in Manhattan. This year organizes the whole bus, which we're on right now, from Manhattan to Washington for the NORPAC mission. Rabbi Schwartz has been going for over 10 years with NORPAC. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure. It's great to see you here, and it's great that you came with us to see your own kids here. That was really wonderful.
It was really a rewarding trip. Again, it's my first time going with NORPAC, but it was something very special. But this year, I think, had a record amount of people coming from OZ, from Tzedek in Manhattan.
Yeah, we had about 40 people. It was the first time we took our own bus. We used to join a greater Manhattan bus, and we hope next year to take 2 buses.
Now, it's important to get people, and you mentioned young people also. We have a lot of young people here that are participating. How do we motivate more of our young to be participatory when it comes to Israel and Jewish causes as well?
Well, you have to remember that people have to take off from school, they have to take off from work. What I love to see about this trip is that a few parents take their kids. 2 of my kids are on this trip. I see you took your kids. Charles Gross took his kids. You know, that's a great thing. If we talk it up long enough in advance and publicize it as a type of parent and high school kid kind of trip, I think that will get even more and more people that way. This particular trip we talked up a little as a singles trip. So you know, everyone has their own constituencies, but I think if we talk it up longer in advance, you know, give it about 2 months to stew it out. And I really have to say, I think you just interviewed Susan Cantor, because she really took it out there. She went to the people. She took to the streets, talked to her friends, and just made it the thing to do today. So it's no small thing to take off and travel for 8-9 hours, you know, take off a whole day. It's final time for some of the students, and they did it because they love Israel and they want to be part of something big.
You know, Rabbi, perhaps if you gave a blessing that the singles would come, they wouldn't be single anymore. You would get double the amount that came. I know people are giving blessings these days.
Please God, they should come next year with their husbands and wives, and you know, some years from now with their kids.
No, it's important, and that's a separate show we can do. Is that unfortunately there are a lot of wonderful single people that would love to be committed and get married, but unfortunately have not been able to find the right one.
Well, today they
call it the Shidduch crisis, right?
Well, today they were committed to Israel. Let's take things one at a time, and please God, that each one in turn will find their bashert, as we say, and they'll find their soulmate. That person is out there. You just have to help them find them. And a trip like this, sometimes you never know. You go for something good, you go to pay a visit to a sick person in the hospital, you go to a group, you know you share the similar values, you know anyone on this trip, even if it's called a singles trip, you know the people, everyone on this bus loves Israel. They love the relationship between this country and Israel. And you'll find someone who shares certain core values with you. Who knows? You know, you may just meet that right person right here on this bus.
Absolutely. Like you said, if people get together with a good cause, and you never know what can happen, and especially doing a good mitzvah and a good cause like helping Israel on Yom Yerushalayim, which was today.
It makes it all the more special.
Rabbi Alan Schwartz, thank you for joining us, and thank you for putting together a bus. Next year, God willing, will be at least 2 buses.
Oh, I hope so. Hope to see you there also.
God willing.
Okay. All right, with some of your kids again. Very good. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Ilana Flamenhaft is the assistant principal at Mayanot High School for Girls in New Jersey, a very popular school. Over 20 students from that school participated in the NORPAC mission to Washington, D.C. And this is your first time going on.
This is my first time.
Your impressions?
It was very exciting for me to come this year. Family of mine went last year and told me how meaningful it was for them, so I wanted to see it for myself. And at Mayanot, the administration felt that it was very important that one of us go and show how important it is for us. We always encourage the students to go, but we thought that it was important that one of us go and show how important we really felt that it was to go on this mission. And it really is as amazing as everybody says, that you really have a chance one-on-one to advocate for the state of Israel with the American Congress. And I'm so glad that I did it, and I definitely want to do it again.
Full disclosure, my daughter Pamela goes to Mayanot, and she loves going on these missions where you can advocate for a strong American-Israeli relationship. So continue wearing your educator's hat. I want you to spell out for us the impact that it would have on students, high school students, going on such a mission.
So I think that there are 2 aspects to it. One, I found that the informational packets that NORPAC prepared and gave us was very helpful. They gave you a lot of information in a very detailed way that you might not have known, and therefore when you were talking to the congressmen and the senators, you could be very articulate and very informative about what you were speaking about. So for the students who always want to talk about how Israel's so important and America should care about Israel, they could actually come out very informed and educated and be articulate about it the next time they wanted to speak about the subject or or advocate for Israel, which I think is very important. We'd like our students and our youth in general to be more informed in a more detailed and specific way. And I think also in general, specifically for Girls Yeshiva High School, we want to empower these young women to make them realize that they're the future, that they need to advocate for the state of Israel, that they can speak up for the state of Israel, for any cause really, and that they should feel comfortable walking into any situation, any congressman's office, and feeling that they can speak to anybody and that they'll be listened to.
You know, I've spoken to some Jewish leaders and institutions. I think more yeshiva high schools should be encouraging students to be advocates, to go on these kinds of missions, not only because it's important now, but when they go to college, where it's a hotbed of anti-Israel extremism, fanaticism. You see it on college campus. Also good training for that.
Definitely. The students sometimes are very surprised when they go to college campuses and they leave the bubble of the yeshiva world, how virulent the anti-Israel feeling is. Very often in, you know, their shuls and their camps and their yeshivas, they really only come across people who feel the same way that they do, or even if it's not the exact political approach that they have, it's within the basic love of Israel and fellow Jews. And then when they get to college campuses, they are completely unprepared. So besides the fact that they need to be prepared and know how to advocate for Israel, knowing the facts once again is the best way to be able to talk to other people and be intelligent about it and be able to advocate for Israel to people where it can't just be about emotion, oh, I love Israel, you should too. It needs to be based and anchored in something else.
Thank you for being with us, and I'm sure that you'll be taking more kids next year on NORPAC's mission.
I am definitely going to try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Had the privilege of speaking to our daughter Pamela before. Our son Menachem Zev Brenner just came back from Israel, joins us on this trip and his first advocacy trip. So Menachem Zev, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Alva. Thank you.
So tell me, this is your first time you've gone on an advocacy trip. You went to Capitol Hill. What were your thoughts? What were your impressions?
Well, this was my first time, as you said, and I was it was very interesting to see how the different Congress people and the chiefs of staffs reacted to seeing large groups of people come in and speak about Israel. It was, I think they felt that the fact that people took the time to come in, and so many people, really made a difference. That it shows that people really care, and we were articulating issues, specific bills that we wanted them to support, and you could see they wanted to please us because we showed such encouragement for what we believe in.
Certainly, and it's nice to see a lot of young people here, and I think it's so important for people your age and high school age should be coming on these kinds of trips. It sends a strong message to the congressman and senator, but also it's something good for them. And I think you learned a lot by being here today.
Definitely, you see how Congress works, how the government. You see, just to be in Washington, to see the way things are run. It's an experience, and hopefully it also paves the way for the future to do it again.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ava.
We'll be right back with our special broadcast originating from NORPAC's annual mission to Washington, D.C. with over 1,000 volunteers right after the following messages.
Are you in business? A store owner, wholesaler, or manufacturer? Do you know you may be eligible for free television and radio advertising? Millions of dollars are lost every year by businesses not taking advantage of free radio and television advertising. Don't lose out. Advertising is the lifeline of any business, large or small. For free consultation, call us in the New York area, 212-769-1925. Out of New York, 866 My TV Show.
If you have diabetes and love food, pay attention to this free offer.
Hi, I'm Nicole Johnson, Miss America 1999. I've had diabetes since 1993, and I hate boring food. Well, I got these 3 free cookbooks with fantastic tasting recipes for people with diabetes. If you have diabetes and have Medicare, you can get these cookbooks free.
Call now to qualify for not 1, not 2, but 3 free cookbooks. Call 1-800-753-6314.
You'll love this rich chocolate cake, oven-fried chicken, and nachos. You'll also get this free meal planning guide and diabetes magazine. So call now for your free Better Care Kit with 3 free cookbooks.
To qualify, call 1-800-753-6314. That's 1-800-753-6314.
An important alert for people using the drug Avandia. The diabetes drug Avandia has been linked to serious heart-related injury and even death. If you or a loved one used Avandia and suffered a heart attack, heart failure, stroke, or heart-related death, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation.
Call 1-800-460-5950.
Recent congressional reports and FDA studies have found an increased risk of heart attacks and heart failure in patients using the drug Avandia. Time to file a claim is limited.
Call 1-800-460-5950.
Holly's discovered a secret that could help thousands of other catheter users.
For years, I never realized how different catheter supplies really were. Liberator contacted my doctor and made arrangements for me to try catheters that were easier to use, much more comfortable, all for free. And they helped me qualify for a new sterile catheter every time I needed one. No more reusing. The minute you make the phone call, you're going to see the difference.
Call 1-800-627-2821.
And it has been clear to me for 2 decades that it is in the national interest and the national security of the United States to have a strong, unwavering alliance with the state of Israel.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you from the annual NORPAC Mission to Washington, D.C. with over 1,000 volunteers from throughout the country. We're on the bus way back from the NORPAC Mission, over 1,000 people getting up at the crack of dawn, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, converging for a day in Washington, long but rewarding. Morris Produce joins me, and he's originally from Turkey, and he went for his first time, his first mission with NORPAC to Washington. So how did you end up going to Washington, D.C.?
Well, we went with the bus. I have a friend.
How did you end up going with NORPAC? What made you decide to go? This is your first time.
Well, it is the first time because I wanted to experience, to see how we're gonna be, how this system is working and how we're gonna have the impact as, like American citizen, to be able to help Israel in their in their issues, I would say. So
how was it? This is the first time you went? You met with congressmen, you met with senators, how did it work?
Well, it was very impressive. Everybody was very responsive, and basically the subjects that we had discussed is really known subject, like the Iranian situation, which is also an American issue, and all the issues which is between Israel and their ally and America being supportive for them. And of course, one of the issue was really about $3.1 billion, which we really support that it should be given to the Americans, from the Americans to the Israelis, because it does help America and Israel and the whole world in a way, because all this research, and one of them is Iron Dome, which is helping the whole stability of the area. Today, if there is a peace between Gaza and Israel, is maybe a little bit due to this technology that was created through Americans help and funding. So it was it was a very important issue. That
it was rewarding for you, right, to be there. You saw that your democracy in action.
But one thing that I really wanted to emphasize about this human rights, the Syrians which are being killed, and I am very connected because of my.
Well, you're born not too far away. You were born in Turkey, right?
Yeah, right. So it's a very sentimental to seeing these peoples, and I'd like really America and the whole world to do something about the human rights, people who are getting killed, and we should really help them and try to find a solution which will be humanitarian. It has nothing to do with politics. No matter what, Russia, America, I don't care.
You don't want people to be killed.
Exactly.
Now, you're a businessman, you're in real estate, you go back and forth from here to Turkey.
Correct.
I'm curious to know, with all the tensions between Turkey and Israel, has it affected how you do business in Turkey?
Not at all. I mean, we have a very good relationship, and people are very cooperative, and as a matter of fact, they really like to work with Jewish people. So we have a good,
Do they separate Jews from Israelis, or Israel from Jews?
Well, they do, but of course, they understand that there is a synergy between them, and
you're pro-Israel.
We are Turkish and Israeli, I would say, in this matter. So, of course they do. They do, yeah.
Did
So
that create problems for you, or not really?
Not really, because, all the subjects are really pretty much open, and, Turkey is a very laïc country, and, you can discuss all these things pretty much, openly. So it's not a problem, I would say.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for joining the NORPAC Mission. It sounds like you're going to go again.
God willing, we'll see how it goes. Everything day by day.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Susan Cantor is an attorney who works with the homeless by day, but she's helped organize one of the buses leaving from Congregation Ov Tzedek in Manhattan for the NORPAC Mission to Washington. So good to see you. How did you get involved with NORPAC?
Well, I had heard about NORPAC for a number of years. I always wanted to go on the trip. It came very soon after the AIPAC policy conference, and Rabbi Schwartz wanted to organize a bus from OZ, and he helped me to help out.
So let's hear about your expectations. How did it work out?
Since it was my first trip, I wasn't really sure, but I figured it was similar to other types of advocacy organizations, and it was really fantastic. I think it's fantastic that we have access to Congress members, to senators. They greet us with open arms, they sit down, they listen to us, and I think that it's a very important thing to do, because we can never take anything for granted, that anything is safe, that anything is secure, and we really need to have a voice. I took off the day from work, many of my friends took off the day from work to come, and I'm really glad that I did.
And I'm glad that you helped organize, because you got many people that ordinarily wouldn't have come. I've spoken to some of them. They came because they said, Susan said I should come, so they came.
Right. One-on-one, I pulled people in, and it was really, really great. And I think everybody had a really great day. We started off with a very rainy day leaving New York, but it was a beautiful day in Washington, and everybody, even though exhausted, came out at the end of the day very glad that they came.
And I might add, I don't know how from other areas, I'm sure it was about the same. Some people were there as early as 5:15 in the morning, going to get back closer to 11 o'clock at night, so they put in a real full day. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're going to be right back with our special broadcast originating from NORPAC's annual mission to Washington, D.C. after the following messages. Stay tuned.
Are you stressed over credit cards and other debts, maybe through no fault of your own? Imagine how it would feel to have that weight lifted right off your shoulders. Well, here's some good news from America's trusted name in debt relief. Care One providers have already helped over 4.5 million people in debt, and we can help you today. Just call this toll-free number to speak with a friendly representative, and in just minutes, you'll get your free debt relief analysis.
Just call the toll-free number today.
I've been on a lot of TV shows, but one of my favorites is Zev Brenner on Talkline. I love this show. I love this network. I love talking about my books, my activities with Zev Brenner. Good questions, good listeners, always get a good response.
Talkline now on throughout the metro area on WRNN Channel 62, Sunday nights at 11 p.m. and Fridays at 1 p.m. For other times, please check your local cable guide or call 1-866-MY-TV-SHOW.
Do you take prescription medications? Are you spending money for them every month? Do you want them for free? Call the free prescription hotline to qualify for free brand name prescriptions and medical supplies. If you are insured, uninsured, or a Medicare beneficiary, your brand name prescriptions could be free. Call the free prescription hotline to see if you're eligible for the new programs and receive your brand name medications free.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald, Medical Director of the Free Prescription Hotline. We can now offer the 2010 expanded programs for free prescription medications. So many people do not take advantage of the benefits they're entitled to because they don't call. When you call the Free Prescription Hotline, you'll find out if your medications and medical supplies could be free.
Call now. All callers will receive a free prescription savings card. Don't miss the deadline. Call the Free Prescription Hotline now.
Call 1-800-603-7920. That's 1-800-603-7920.
If you've ever considered hosting your own radio or TV show, then we can help you. Talkline Communications works with individuals and groups interested in broadcasting on radio and TV. Ideal for lawyers, doctors, financial advisors, organizations, or anyone interested in broadcasting. Talkline works with various TV and radio stations in New York and around the country that lease airtime at competitive rates so we can pass on that savings to you. For more information, call us at 212-769-1925. That's 212-769-1925.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner, sitting here with Dr. Ben Shuak, president of NORPAC, an organization which does tremendous work for our community and on Capitol Hill for Israel. And he's a doctor by day. I don't know when he has the time for NORPAC, but it seems like that being a doctor is secondary to his NORPAC activities, which brings thousands of people to Washington at least once a year. Good to have you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for allowing us to participate in the NORPAC mission this year.
Thank you for coming with us, Ms. Brenner. Thank you very much.
First time I went, so I have to tell you, I was impressed before I went, but even more so having participated in the NORPAC mission. Also, I got to lead a group of going to see various congressmen and senators. What a marvelous way to exercise our democratic rights in this country.
It is. It's absolutely astonishing how much influence you can have by actually picking yourself up and taking the effort to make your way to Washington. Of course, it's more effective under the auspices of an organization that does this year-round. But the culmination of our efforts in a mission to Washington with 1,000 members of NORPAC, and we had this year about 473 meetings with members of Congress in one day with 130 groups. So about 90% of Congress met with us, received us, heard our concerns, explained the issues that were important to us, and to a large extent educated and started a relationship with these members of NORPAC and the members of Congress. So it's a tremendous thing for the country. It's a tremendous thing for our community, and we're very grateful that we have the opportunity and how successful it's been.
For those that may not know, let's just talk a little bit about NORPAC, how it began, and what it does on a day-to-day basis.
So NORPAC is a political action committee. And some people get it confused with AIPAC. AIPAC is a fantastic organization, which is a professional lobby organization. NORPAC is different. AIPAC is a public affairs committee. The PAC in AIPAC came before political action committees were popular, so they really got the name first, and the acronym means something different. AIPAC does not give or raise money for members of Congress. They have a large staff. They create legislative agendas. They help facilitate them through Congress. They help lay leaders like myself and others have relationships with Congress, and they're there all year long to educate members of Congress. Fantastic organization with a great lay leadership, and they do a tremendous amount of things. NORPAC is different. NORPAC is what I would call the other side of the equation. If AIPAC is the educational arm, to a large extent, NORPAC and organizations like it are the bank. What I mean by that is that we, as a registered political action committee, raise money for members of Congress trying to get elected. So we engage in relationships with members of Congress. We help them with their campaigns. We help them fund their campaigns. And it's essentially a all-volunteer organization except for a very skeleton staff. We have a couple of staff members, but it's almost entirely a volunteer organization.
Final question. It's an expensive hobby. It's time. You love it. You're passionate about it. But what made you decide this is what you want to do? Because you're involved, as I mentioned, with so many different groups. What made you decide to devote your major, I shouldn't say major, you're still involved with other groups too, but a major focus on NORPAC and its activities?
Well, all the organizations are important, and they all have their functions. my own personal background is my mother is a survivor. We lost most of our family. And if you look at the history of what happened, Jews had little political empowerment in those days. They went to Washington. They couldn't get any country to accept the Jews. Even Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was beloved by the Jews, would not let the Jews into America. And they suffered a grim fate because of that. And I lost most of my family. My wife lost most of her family. So you come to realize a couple of things. One is that it's extremely important to have a voice in the American political leadership, because you never know when you're going to need it. And we are particularly able and knowledgeable to keep both America ahead of the curve because of our history and because of how interested we are in these foreign issues, and because we recognize the dangers, such as Iran, ahead of most people. That is important, and it's also important for U.S.-Israel relations. It's an impossible situation if you let a vacuum occur. It happened to us in the 1940s, and we suffered terribly for it. So those of us that are willing, and those of us that need to do this, and we all need to do this, should. Political advocacy is the most important way, of many important ways, to ensure the survival of Israel and the survival of the Jewish people. We all pray, and prayers are very important, and I do so every day. But Hashem wants you to do the work too. And this is our job. We have a tremendous opportunity in America to have a voice, to have our say, to put forward the issues and have them move through the legislative halls of our government. And we must take advantage of it.
Dr. Ben Shug, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing with your colleagues, putting together activities, NORPAC, lobbying in Capitol Hill, educating our community. I urge people to get involved with NORPAC, go on their mission, as I did for the first. You will walk away impressed, but even more importantly, you'll have a chance to do good for our country and for the state of Israel. Thank you for what you're doing. We'll show people the highlights of our trip to Washington with NORPAC.
Zev, thank you for the opportunity to come here and put some knowledge of our mission and our activities to the public.
We hope you've enjoyed our special broadcast originating from NORPAC's annual mission to Washington, D.C., with over 1,000 volunteers coming from all over the country to Capitol Hill to advocate for a strong American-Israel relationship. For more information about NORPAC's missions, you can contact them at the address you see on screen. Join us again next week, same time, same station, here on the Talkline Communications Network. I'm Zev Brenner. Shalom.